Never don't let we cannot falter in the battle. We're tried and true. Indiana, Indiana, we're all for you.
Welcome to the Indiana Basketball Show on the Really True Sports Network. I'm your co-host, Mike Goodpaster, with 1981 national champion Steve Risley. Steve, it seems like the Hoosiers haven't played in 3 or 4 years, but they got the win last night, 90-80 over Washington. What were your first takeaways from that game?
Was there a game last night?
I know. We're all just thinking about Oregon on Friday, but still.
Yeah. What were my takeaways from the game? Basically, it's a carbon copy of what we've seen all season long. They're playing at home. They shoot lights out. They made no turnovers. They moved the ball well. Probably a little bit better effort on the boards than I've seen earlier, but it's basically just a reprint of what we've seen all season long from this team at Assembly Hall.
Yeah, I mean, my big takeaway, you look at the stat line. I mean, they made 12 threes. That's the difference in the game. They made twice as many threes. They shot 52%.
Well, thank God they did.
Yeah.
I mean, Washington was matching us 1-to-1 there.
Well, it ended up 12-6, but the percentages were way different too. Indiana was 43% there. Right. IU was 80% from the free throw line. The thing that impressed me about both teams, there's 4. I don't know if it impresses me or makes me think the defense isn't that good, but both teams, 4 turnovers each, Steve. So Indiana took care of the ball. Connerway, Enright, I thought played really well in the backcourt. Probably, if you look at my biggest takeaways, I think Enright and Connerway set the tone early. And I think Washington, they've got a good coach, Danny Sprinkle, even though he sounds like a male stripper or something. And I think the goal here by Washington was to let everybody but Wilkerson or DeVries beat you. And, taking Connerway completely opened it up from the perimeter. So did Connor Enright. Hoosiers made 12 threes in this game. I'd like to see, I know Robert Stewart, who listens to the show, sent me a message saying he'd like to see Enright shoot more. I mean, they shot the ball well. And the thing that stood out to me is they did that to take away Wilkerson and DeVries. But in the second half, Wilkerson, he ends up with 22 points for the game. And he kept that defense honest by using his size and his strength to get to the rim. So offensively, 90 points against a decent Washington team. And your guy, you probably want to talk about, Trent Sisley, finally gave us a little bit of a lift off the bench, Steve.
Yeah, no, came in and gave us 2 quick 3-pointers, played tough. As a true freshman, I still think that I'd get that kid in the weight room as quickly as I could, even if it meant putting him in there right now. Get him bulking up. I just think he's got really an opportunity to be a major contributor to this program if he stays the entire 4 years at Indiana, which, knowing from what I've read about his family and how his family's tied to the area of Bloomington, and his dad is probably a bigger contributor to IU basketball than we are if you follow him on Facebook or Instagram. I think that great lift off the bench for him. Came in, gave us a lot of what we needed done. And the more minutes we give him, I think the better off it's going to be for this program.
Well, how about this, Steve? I mean, the thing that struck me the most is you always hear people, they had almost, 2 weeks off? And the fact is, even with 2 weeks off, to me, I think that they played better than what we saw 2 weeks ago. You only had 4 turnovers. I think Sisley was a presence down below. I like the backdoor cut he made at one point also. So I think my biggest takeaway here is maybe those 2 weeks off where people talk about getting rusty, when it's not even halfway point of the season. I mean, maybe we saw a little bit more coaching there by Coach DeVries, and maybe this team came out playing a little bit better.
Well, I thought this team I was shocked when I watched them play. They looked very rejuvenated and very fresh. They look good, and you would think that one of 2 things happens. Like you said, they either get rusty or they get to taking some pretty tough practices and start beating the crap out of each other in midseason. So I compliment Coach DeVries big time on getting the right balance of working hard, but yet keeping everybody fresh and light. At that point in time, they probably had a chance to get home for Christmas and maybe even enjoy New Year's. I don't know what the deal was. Hell, we always practice twice on Christmas and twice on New Year's Eve. So make sure, and then once on New Year's Day too. So Knight was making sure we weren't going out partying.
Well, I mean, come on, Steve.
But no, I thought the team looked crisp. They looked sharp. The team remains very unselfish. I mean, you put 4 players in double figures. 2 other players score 8 points in the game. So you basically could have ended up 1 bucket drops for each one of the other 2. You got 6 players in double figures. There's great balance. This team did not drop off any in the 12 days it had off at all. And I like to see that. That's a really good sign for this basketball team. I think that speaks very highly to the coaching staff at Indiana University for keeping this team loose, friendly with each other, focused on an end goal. And, I like what I saw.
Yeah, and Robert Stewart sent a message about Indiana out rebounding Washington. And the thing about that is
33-29, 4 rebounds. Come on.
When you get down to it, though, the Hoosiers limited Washington to 8 offensive rebounds and an offensive rebounding percentage of 26.7, which is the second lowest the Huskies have had all season. And more importantly, Indiana grabbed 11 offensive rebounds and scored 13 second chance points off those. Indiana grabbed 34.4% of their missed shots, which is a season high for this team. So I think the thing that makes me feel good about this win, I don't think Washington's a terrible team. I think they're well coached. And I think what we see is our concerns, if we look at 2 weeks ago or a month ago, seem like the Hoosiers are progressively slowly getting better in everything that we had a concern with.
Yeah, I had written down one word and taken some notes during watching the game, and it's like where I really want Indiana to think about improving now is fierceness. It's just a fierceness when they play. They don't seem to me they play efficiently, they play tough, but they don't play as hard as I'd like them to play. I think they could overcome a lot of the inside deficit. If they would get the inside guys just to be more fierce, crash the boards more, get after it, be a little bit more physical and blocking people out and not letting people waltz through screens. They're not bad at it, but I think when it comes down to this next 7-game stretch we're going to talk about here, I'm sure in a few minutes, they're going to have to up their game in a huge way to get out of that mess 500, is what I feel.
Yeah, Robert Schwartz says Sicily probably saved IU's bacon. Robert Stewart says he spread the floor. And then Robert Schwartz says, correct me if I'm wrong, Risley, but back in your day, IU played the 2 classics over the holidays. Those were always classics, too.
Yeah, we played the Hoosier Classic, which was, kind of just a tournament at Assembly Hall. And basically that was a deal where 3 teams, they would bring them in. They knew they were going to get drilled by 30, 40, 50 points. But it was generally the biggest payday of the year for them because they played in front of 17,000 fans. There was also an opportunity because students were out that a lot of lay people that couldn't get tickets could generally get tickets to those games. They generally weren't part of a season ticket package, the Hoosier Classic game, the tournament, the 2-day tournament. And, so that tournament, then there was always one that Indiana. Back then, in those days, they had
We had one at Market Square too, didn't we?
No, we don't. I don't think we ever played a tournament at Market Square. We played one in the Assembly Hall, and then we traveled to one. Like we went to Alaska one. No, there was a Great West.
Those were at the start of the year.
That was the start of the year, but we went in the Far West Classic, played at Portland. There was always a tournament somewhere that we were invited to. I think didn't one year we go to the Rainbow Classic? Yeah, that was a disaster waiting to happen.
That's what Far West one was too. Wasn't that in 79?
Yeah, it was 79.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
We won't talk about that mess. So, but yeah, it was set up a little differently then than it is now. I was pleased to see that DeVries was smart enough to give these kids times off to be students. And,
I don't think he had much of a choice, sister. I mean, really, it's the first time I remember there was no college basketball game scheduled from like the 23rd through like the 30th or something.
Yeah, well, you had the NFL going, and then you had college playoffs starting and the bowl season starting, so it didn't hurt. There was certainly a lot of fun things
Now,
to
let me
watch.
ask you this. When you played, was the balcony ever completely empty, even during the Christmas or New Year's break?
No, I don't ever remember the balcony
Because
being
I don't think
empty.
there was anybody in the balcony against Washington the other night.
No. But then I remember the only place you could get an IU game was on WTTV4 with Chuck Marlowe. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly there was no Big Ten Network. There was no ESPN. It wasn't born until '79, and that was a lot of Australian rules football and cricket and stuff like that. So the first few years of that, so it was a different world. But no, I don't ever remember a balcony being empty. And I think a lot of that we can thank Scotty and Quinn and Benny and Abbers and Bobby Wilk and Cruzy and those guys for what they accomplished in '75 and '76.
Plus, they didn't have a football team going to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, they didn't have a football team going to the Rose Bowl.
Everybody spent all their money.
That would have been tough for us to walk around campus and not be BMOC.
Yeah, because anymore the basketball team's not.
I'd walk into class and there's Mendoza already in there, and I'd be like, "Wait a minute, you guys are supposed to love on us."
Hey,
Mendoza's over in the corner.
He doesn't go to class. He just takes classes online.
Dude, is that what he does?
No, I'm serious.
He's
already graduated, dude. Everybody's already graduated.
Hey, let me tell you how old I am. When I went to college, I took Cobalt in Fortran. Now, there ain't nobody younger than you and I. You don't even know what Cobalt and Fortran are. We did computer programming on punch cards.
Okay. What cheerleader did they have do that for you, Steve?
Pardon?
Which cheerleader did that for you?
No, I had to do it on my own because you had to do it on this big old computer half the size of Assembly Hall.
Oh, I remember the computer that's what I always tell everybody. The computer in my school was bigger than our house. So
let me see if anybody remembers Cobalt and Fortran. That was before DOS.
I'm sure Robert does. He's old.
iOS. Long before DOS came out. Anyway, where were we before we got
okay? Robert does.
Robert does. Robert, don't admit you do. Code. Yeah, well, this was pre-code. This was just kind of was code. It was doing things that we do on whatever. We're getting off on a computer side tangent.
Okay, Robert said, yeah, they played at Market Square Arena. I don't know if you did, but I know they did.
I don't think we did. I could be wrong on that. I don't remember playing there. We always did a preseason game there. Is Bailey too soft for the Big Ten?
It looks like it's possible. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, the next 7 games are going to tell you everything you want to know about IU basketball because we go to Maryland. We got anything else to talk about Washington?
No, but let's go ahead. We'll look at the Maryland game, and then we'll stretch that out past that after we give a short preview of Maryland. Maryland's a team right now that's 7-7. They lost at home to Georgetown. Georgetown's a little better than what they had been. They beat Marquette by 7. Everybody that's good beat Marquette by 20. They lost by 40 to Gonzaga. They lost, they lost to 33 against Alabama. They did beat Wagner, though. Iowa beat them by 20. Michigan only beat them by 18. That's one of Michigan's closest games this year. They beat Old Dominion. They lost by 8 to Virginia. They lost at home to Oregon by 10, and Oregon's nothing more than a 500 team this year. So when you look at this, I think which offense stays consistent will be huge here because I think Maryland fans are used to seeing their offense wildly oscillate between feast and famine. And that's basically what they've been so far this year. Now,
the thing to look at with Maryland, Mike, in my opinion, is rebounding. How do they stack up? Do they out-rebound their opponents? Are they strong inside? Because right now, Indiana has just basically become a three-point shooting
so what
team.
you got a guy by the name of Sullivan Washington. Mm-hmm. He's their best post player, and he has been able to tear up undersized fronts. He had a 17-point game against Oregon, but that felt like an outlier because he only averages 4.7 a game. But I mean, he is getting a more increased role. He scored 9 against Virginia, 13 against Old Dominion. And while Washington's breakout against Oregon came, Oregon's got 2 big guys that are kind of monsters Indiana doesn't have the post presence that is as dominant as either Kwame Evans Jr. or Nate Biddle at Oregon that they have. So I think this relies on two dudes that aren't massive. I mean, you've got 6'9" Sam Alexis, and I think Tucker DeVries is going to have to do some work on the boards too. Now, like I said, Maryland's been wildly inconsistent, which I think makes this game hugely scary. If that is, I don't know if hugely is a word, but I think our president used it, so it counts. But I think what you see is if you get a Maryland that's hot and you're a little bit off, you could have issues. The other thing is, Steve, we've had one other road game against Minnesota. Now, Minnesota's turned out to be a pretty good team. I think they're 9-5, 10-5 right now. Just beat Northwestern at Northwestern. So anything on the road right now scares me. And then you got a man by the name of Miles Rice. And, I'm sure he doesn't love IU. But, of course, Rice, one of the reasons he's not at IU anymore is he's up and down. He's recorded 4 games with double digits. He's recorded 4 games with 2 or fewer points. So between Rice and Washington, if they play really well, this could be a scary game. But let's face it, if we think this team's headed in the right direction, this is a game that they should win, that they have to win.
Yeah. They've got to get every win they can get right now. They got to start this 7-game stretch with a win.
Oh, we don't even have to talk about it anymore. Robert just said it would be the first road win in conference. Robert's never wrong.
Okay, well, let's go.
P-Ball says IU could beat Maryland. They're not that tough, but it is on the road. Robert Stewart, we had one of those computers at the factory I worked at in Greenwood. I played cards with girls' husbands all the what? I played cards with girls' husband all the time.
I don't know what Robert's smoking crap again.
No, Robert's at work right now. He's fine. I don't know, Robert. We didn't understand that very well.
Robert, you need to clarify a little bit more on what you're talking about.
Robert Schwartz says, be interested to see if IU can play better on the road. Their 2 true road games with Minnesota and Kentucky have not gone well. And especially neither one of those teams are great basketball teams. I almost said football. Are great basketball teams. I think it's possible Minnesota is going to be better than Maryland. I really like Medved, their head coach. I like the way they play. They actually cost me money because I bet Northwestern because they were at home against Minnesota over the weekend. And that was a colossal mistake. But, all right. So, Steve, you already brought it up a little bit. So we're going to bring up Indiana's schedule from here on out because it gets much more difficult. And it's why this Maryland game is almost a must win. We play at home on Saturday against Nebraska. Nebraska's undefeated.
Before you go there, I'll close out just by saying, by us being just so reliant on our shooting, we've become a one-dimensional team. That's why it's so important to get Risley and Bailey and who's the other kid that they brought that finally got off the IR? Dorn. Those guys have got to get more physical inside, take the pressure off our perimeter game because it becomes easier to guard Indiana if you're just a one-dimensional game. And I think that Coach DeVries has done a fabulous job of having these guys maintain tempo of these games and not start rushing shots. I don't see Indiana pushing a lot of shots, which is why I think they shoot so well. But if a coach really looks at the film and says, "Boy, these guys do not do a lot inside," even 6 of Risley's 10 points came on back-to-back 3-pointers. So for us to be successful, even at College Park, it's College Park, isn't it? Isn't that where Maryland is? Yeah. Maryland wasn't part of it. No, they weren't. They were in the ACC when I played.
Hey, as Robert Stewart says, at least our strength is our shooting now. It's really hard to win if your strength's not your shooting.
No, well, I think our biggest strength is our ball control, truthfully. I think the ball control and the controlling the tempo of the game and the ball control, Robert, I'm going to go one above you. Shooting is a result of good ball control and controlling tempo because it allows us by using up as much of the shot clock as we need to whenever we need to, it allows us to get good shots. At that level, you would hope that any team that's on the court that's getting paid the money these kids are getting paid can shoot the ball now. Which is why I probably would be a backup tight end on the football team right now.
No, you couldn't make this football team now.
No, I couldn't make this team. No.
Hey, P-Ball is also predicting IU over Nebraska, giving them their first loss. I will tell you this. I give that an actual possibility to happen. The reason
the game's at Bloomington.
But not just that. They beat Ohio State last night. And a lot of people thought Ohio State would beat them just because they were coming off really only 1 day's rest after they beat Michigan State at home. So now you've got Tuesday through Saturday, and this is a noon game. So hopefully that gives IU more of a shot. But that Nebraska team's really good. After Nebraska,
they're very well coached.
After Nebraska, you got to go to Michigan State. Michigan State's only lost a couple games. They lost to Duke and they lost to Nebraska.
They lost a former player last night.
Did they?
Yeah, he got kicked out of the game because he was.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Izzo had to come and kick him out.
Then it continues. The hits keep on coming because then they're back home, but they play Ben McCollum and the Iowa Hawkeyes, who are extremely good. I told you how he could coach. But then you go play
our friend Dusty.
You go play Michigan. So you got Ben McCollum and Dusty back to back. And I'm telling you, I don't know how Michigan's ranked at number 2. I don't see that. They're number 1 in the country.
Who's ranked number 1?
Probably Arizona. Arizona was. I assume they still are. But then you got, after Michigan, you do get Rutgers, but it's at Rutgers. But Rutgers, probably the worst team in the Big Ten. Then you get Purdue here. You get UCLA at UCLA.
And USC.
USC at USC, which USC I don't think is very good. And I don't think UCLA is as good as they have been the last couple of years.
No, they're still I see a lot of them. They're mediocre. I mean, but it is a 3-hour time difference on the road swing. The thing about those places, like what people don't realize is Pauley is probably about 2/3 the size of Assembly Hall. And I'm not sure USC's stadium's any bigger.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit smaller, more compact gyms, which will change the shooting perception and things like that.
The Nebraska game is home.
Yeah.
The one on Saturday.
Yeah. But what is Indiana's record against Nebraska? Didn't they own us for a while?
It's not good. Remember, that's what got Brian, that little moron from
come on, be nice.
Florida off here because of
the new year. We swore niceness to Brian.
Player. Let's see. Oh, okay. It's not on the road. It's at home. And I wish people would quit calling it the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. It's fucking Assembly Hall. God. Just because somebody paid a bunch of money to put their name on it doesn't mean we got to respect it. It was Assembly Hall when Bobby Knight was coaching the team. It's Assembly Hall now. I don't even want to hear the Simon Scott crap. Just my opinion.
Paul Scott's a great guy. He's a former hockey player for the Racers.
I don't care. It's Assembly Hall.
And Cindy is part of the Simon industry that builds malls all over the country and all over the world. Good for them.
You're telling me there are a bunch of rich
nice
people that build malls?
The Simon Scotts are very nice people.
Okay.
They had the money when IU needed the money, and they put it up, and they got the name rights to it.
It should be Bob Knight's.
It should be Bob Knight Stadium, but
if they were nice, they would do that.
I'm sure at some point in time they wanted the name of that, and I had heard rumors, and I could be totally wrong, that Knight family didn't want it.
I doubt that they were doing. They were going to cash out either way. That's.
Yeah, here or there. I don't blame the Simon Scotts. Every other
Balin says they've worn our number for the last 3 years, and that's pretty much correct too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they come in here with a lot of confidence. They have a good feeling about Assembly Hall, whatnot. So that's a 50-50 game to me. Indiana's gonna have to shoot 48% from 3-point land again.
Yes, and we will be back Thursday to recap that game and preview the Saturday Nebraska game. But right now, Steve, Indiana versus Oregon to go to the national championship.
Are we done? We did
that.
That's it?
Yeah, well, we got to talk about the football team.
Okay.
Unless you just want to do a separate football show.
No, I don't know enough about football to do it.
Well, I mean, come on, Steve. It's never stopped you before.
I know. But
Remember that time? Remember the time we did a show about the NHL with that hockey writer and interviewed a hockey player? I guarantee you know a lot more about football.
I remember the time we got to interview Rocky Blyer, which was a cool as hell thing.
Yeah, that's because you badgered me because I interviewed him without you and you found out and you wanted to talk to him. But it was cool as hell.
Yeah, that was an honor.
You want to have him on again? Let's see.
He passed away, didn't he?
Something to be said. No, for Franco Harris died. Something to be said for being a crusty old man at 71. I can appreciate the attitude. Thank you. But I assume he's talking about my assembly hall rant. But I don't know, Steve. You want to go ahead and wrap it up then? Do you have any...
talk IU football.
No, you didn't want to.
No, I do. I just go ahead. I'm just going to listen to you rant and rave.
Steve did not go to the Rose Bowl. Balin, you can't get him out of his damn house.
The thing about that was it was pouring down rain all week long, and it was like $160. It was $160 to go to the tailgate party.
I could have got you in for free, but all right.
Somebody's not the tailgate party. Somebody told me it was $400 to walk into the building, Assembly Hall or Rose Bowl.
Simon Scott's Rose Bowl?
No, it is. It's the Honda Rose Bowl, though. It is the Honda.
I never heard him call it that.
It is. If you look, there is a Honda logo.
You know, because I ignored that shit. It's the Rose Bowl. I don't care what anybody thinks.
It's the granddaddy of them all, baby.
And the Indiana Hoosiers were in it. I never thought I would ever see that. Yeah. Ever.
See, I think they should.
Sorry, it was surreal when they had the first shot of Indiana in the end zone with the name. And I'm just thinking, and it was apropos though. At the time we get there, it's cloudy. You know, right. I remember Dick Enberg talking about the beautiful granddaddy of them all, and it's always sunny there.
Well, here's my deal on that is that I'm more into tradition than, and God knows I'd like to have the money, but the NCAA is more into the money, because I think the basketball should be every year the road to Indianapolis. Well, and the Final Four is in Indianapolis every year, and it's the road to Indy. And then I think that the football championship should be the road to Pasadena. You know, you're going for the roses. It's like the Kentucky Derby, run for the roses. And there you go. You got it right there. But the thing, if you do that, is teams don't bid. You don't get the Orange Bowl deciding that oranges are more important than roses, paying gazillions of dollars, which was gazillions of dollars brought into these.
Hey, wait a second. Greg Gorecki says it's been a while since IU was the top school in football. Like never, Greg.
Like never.
Well,
they got the second worst record of any Division I college football.
It had the worst until like week 7 of this year.
It's only because we won 14 games each of the last 2 years. We got off the bottom.
Yeah, because we were at the bottom all the time. You had 1945, 1967. Then you did. I mean, let's face it. This team had won 4 bowl games in history.
Yeah, no.
If we win the Peach Bowl, we get 2 there. We do it again next year. We'll have won as many in 2 years as we've run in the first 125.
No, and it just, from the looks of things, Signetti's not backing off now with a new quarterback we got coming in. We just stole a tight end, you said, from Miami.
From Miami. And Balin says the Pop-Tart Bowl would be a neat experience. Hey, there was a time.
Hey, the Pop-Tart Bowl had some big deal where they had a Pop-Tart toaster thing or something going on. It drew more fans than a P. Diddy concert.
All right. P-Ball said he's got to go to the doctor. Me and Steve know how that is. That's why sometimes our shows would get postponed for a few days. Greg says, I know it wasn't in my lifetime, and I'm 66. It wasn't in anybody's lifetime, Greg.
He's 67?
He's 66.
Well,
yeah, but it's 67. It's not like
I was 10 years old or 9 years old, wasn't I? I was 9 years old.
I was 11 months from being born when they played in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, I was 9 years old.
And now Northwestern is the worst again. They gave the title back to Northwestern. I don't know. I think UCLA may be the worst team.
Northwestern's not the worst in all-time college Division I football.
Oh, no, they are. Win-loss wise.
No, they can't be.
They can, because they were god-awful until, the mid-'90s? When they got Gary Barnett?
Yeah, well, they used to say that was Indiana's only win every year, and that was
up until 1993, 94, and then Northwestern was good. Remember, Northwestern went to the Rose Bowl in 96. They lost to USC.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So they've actually, the last 30 years, they haven't been terrible.
So preview the football game. Basketball, what are we saying here? Wind it down.
No, Indiana's going to beat Maryland.
Okay, we're going to win Maryland, and then from there, we're going to do a show after Maryland.
Yeah, we will do a show Thursday if you want at 1 o'clock. What?
My wife's on an 8-day cruise in the Caribbean.
So then you got nothing to do. Except
I got everything to do. Everything she normally does, I got to go do. So I had to go to the doctor. I opened up the hole in the bottom of my foot again.
Dude, ever since porn became free, it's hard to get you. And now your wife's gone.
Oh, God, yeah. I wish it was that easy.
Biggest college football game I've ever seen was at Notre Dame, and they played Georgia Tech in 1998. If IU wins the Peach Bowl, Signetti will equal Mallory's bowl win total. He's now type of Corso. That's one.
Okay.
Hey, the worst Lee Corso story ever I remember? In 1975, Indiana took a 7-6 lead early on. I think the game was at Ohio State. And Corso called timeout so everybody could take a picture of where the scoreboard said Indiana 7, Ohio State 6. And then we lost, I think, 42-7.
You know that Lee Corso was the very first college coach ever to talk to me about playing college sports?
Well, and he's probably one of the worst college coaches I've ever seen. So I wouldn't brag about that, Steve. Just tell the story where fucking Newt Rockney recruited you.
No, Newt met his fate. But tell you what, though, Lee Corso, Dick Vitale used to talk to me on the phone for hours. Oh, baby, yeah, why don't you come up to UD? Come play for the Detroit, whatever, the Titans. Come up to the Titan Express up here. Yeah, we got a pool table in our locker room. We got stereophonic. Yeah, baby. I'm like, Coach Vitale.
Envelope's full of money.
Coach Vitale, do you realize I'm white? So
it doesn't matter because he'd have left about the time you were a sophomore anyways.
Yeah, that's probably when he headed to ESPN. All right. Talk football real quick. We'll get these people off the air. They're getting tired of listening to it.
I'm done. We could talk about it Thursday, too.
Do whatever you want to do.
All I can tell you is this. I think that the winner of the Indiana-Oregon game will win the national championship. I don't think Ole Miss or Miami run the ball well enough. I think Indiana controls the tempo. They just play well. They're smart. I mean, this is a team that all year has given up an average of 10 points a game. They've only had 2 games where they've given up more than 1 touchdown. And hey, hold on. This is cool. Balin Gardner's great uncle and Bum Phillips were neighbors. Bum Phillips should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
He's not. Bum Phillips is not in the Hall of Fame.
No, he didn't win a Super Bowl, even though he was innovative with what he did with Robert Brazil. What he did with Robert Brazil in the 4-3
Bum
defense.
Phillips had Earl Campbell.
No, he had Robert Brazil, one of the greatest linebackers ever.
Yeah. Well, we interviewed him too one time, didn't we?
I have, yeah. I think I let you on with Robert too because you got mad because I did a legend show without you. So I did a legend show like 2 weeks ago, but I haven't released it yet. I'm waiting until you're not paying attention.
Who's it on?
You don't know who it is.
Who is it?
James Francis. You don't know who it is. See, you'll be fine.
I know Russ Francis.
James Francis was an all-pro linebacker for the Bengals in 1990s.
Oh, no.
No. I don't know.
How about before we get to the Rose Bowl, how about our dumbass Colts owner?
It's not ours. And I told you, anytime a woman runs shit, they screw it up.
Did you see what she said yesterday? We're all pissed off. But I'm keeping my general manager and coach who freaking lost the last 9 games of the season for us. We were 8-2 and seeded number 1 in the whole NFL. And, we play a 44-year-old quarterback instead of bringing in whatever that kid's name was we brought in.
Riley Leonard. I told you at the start of the year, Riley Leonard would be their best bet. Not that he will be next year, but come on. You can't have a woman run a man's fucking football team. It's absolutely stupid. And I told you that at the start. You can't have an owner that stands down there writing notes. I mean,
know,
she might as
I
well
know,
have crayons because you know
It's
she
bad
don't know
look all
shit
the way
about
around.
football.
Oh,
Plus she really needs a tan. I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, she's as white can
dude,
be.
she looks like one of the Adams
Oh my
family.
golly. Okay. Give us your
Does that make
rundown
Sean
on the.
Stecken cousin it?
I don't like the guy.
No, he sucks. And I mean Ballard. I mean, I don't know. That dude must have some pictures on.
He's got
Carly or
photographs
whatever.
of somebody.
Yeah. I mean, Carly must have been on Epstein Island. Ballard had it redacted.
Who was the gumball who was the GM before Ballard, the guy from Purdue?
I don't even remember. It was like a decade ago.
No, not Ron Meyer was the coach. Who was the?
Ron Meyer was the early 80s coach.
He was Irsay's pot smoking buddy.
I'm not a Colts fan, Steve. I don't know these
okay.
things.
Can't remember who it was.
All
right, IU football. Come on, go.
IU wins. It's over. All right, we're going to go ahead. We'll be back on Thursday at 1:00 because Steve can't wait to come back. And Steve, do you have any words of wisdom for anybody?
No, should I?
No, it's like every other show. All right, guys, make sure you follow us on X at Grueling Truth. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. You can find all of our shows now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you find sports podcasts. You'll find the Grueling Truth. For now, for Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening